Why play Ksante top? Well, he is amazingly tanky, his lockdown is incredibly disruptive, he is a brilliant duelist, and he can change forms to deal insane damage. However, his early game is not the strongest, and he has a very high skill ceiling to get the maximum value out of him. Ksante's passive is his abilities mark enemies hit. His basic attacks detonate these marks to deal additional damage. When in all-out form, this additional damage scales with his bonus armor and magic resist. Ksante's Q is a short-range, straight-line skill shot which deals damage to and slows enemies hit. If this hits at least one enemy, Ksante generates a stack, and when he has 2 stacks, it empowers his third Q. This changes the Q to fire a shockwave which deals damage to and pulls enemies towards him, stunning them. This ability is also an auto-attack reset, and when in all-out form, the cooldown of this ability is reduced. Ksante's W causes him to start charging, where he becomes immune to CC and gets damage reduction. Upon use, Ksante dashes in a direction, dealing damage to enemies hit, carrying them with him and stunning them. The range of the dash and stun duration are increased the longer the ability was channeled. When in all-out form, it no longer knocks back and stuns, but does increase damage. Ksante's E causes him to dash in a direction, although not through terrain, and grants himself a shield. When cast on an ally, he can dash further and also shields the ally champion. When in all-out form, the cooldown is reduced. Ksante's ultimate is a point-and-click ability. When used, he dashes behind the champion hit, pulling them to him and dealing damage to them. However, if this hits into terrain, he instead pulls them all the way through the terrain. While in all-out form, he can't go above 65% health, his armor and magic resist are massively reduced, and he instead gets a large amount of attack speed, armor pen, and omnivamp. For combos, with third Q available, E toward your opponent and use Q. Attack into W, throwing them in the wrong direction, and then attack again. From here, you want to ult them, and if it's through terrain, even better. Your abilities now have an insanely low cooldown, so spam your Qs and attacks using your W and E to chase your opponent down. For matchups, Ksante can struggle into tank killers, but he's great into high damage top laners, tanking their damage before turning it around. For runes, take this. Grasp is everything you want. For build order, start Shield and Pot into an Iceborne Gauntlet and tier 2 boots. After this, a Thornmail and Jack shows are great pickups before finishing your build with any of these as needed. For skill order, start Q then E then W before maxing Q then W then E, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Teleport. Starting the game, as the top laner, your main focus is always going to be on farming hard and taking good trades where possible. When you have third Q available, your trades become great. Dashing in with E grants you a shield, Q knocks them round, and W knocks them round again so they can't even respond to your tons of damage. And when you hit level 6, you now have insane kill pressure. Your third Q knocks them back, your W knocks them back, and your ultimate now knocks them back to make sure they're far away from safety, and you get tons of damage to tear through them. Entering the mid game, take your tower as soon as possible and split push for pressure. You're great at killing through towers with your Iceborne Gauntlet, and you're such a strong duelist they have to send multiple people to stop you. Entering late game team fights, you want to play as your team's frontline. Absorb damage while throwing out tons yourself while being incredibly disruptive, with your Qs and Ws stunning and knocking around their entire team. Keep doing this until you get the opportunity to get on one of their backline champions with your ultimate. Run them through a wall, forcing them to a fight they can't win.